You know that moment when you finally make a decision only to immediately start wondering if it was the right one? It can feel exhausting to be stuck in that loop, but the way out is gentler than you might expect. Today, we are going to talk about how to stop second-guessing yourself when making decisions. This matters because that constant doubt doesn't just slow you down, it quietly wears away your peace of mind day after day. When you start to loosen that habit, you may find that choices feel clearer and less heavy to carry. The surprising truth is that second-guessing often comes from a desire for certainty that simply isn't available. Second-guessing yourself is that nagging feeling that hits right after you make a choice. It's the voice in your head that whispers, "Are you sure that was the right one?" In real life, this shows up in small moments like picking a restaurant or deciding what to wear. It also appears in bigger decisions like choosing a job or ending a relationship. The truth is, second-guessing isn't about being careful. It's about doubting your own judgment. When you understand this, you see it's a habit, not a sign that you're wrong. The key is recognizing that this doubt often comes from fear, not from a lack of information. Let's explore why this matters so much for your everyday peace of mind. Constant second-guessing drains your mental energy and leaves you feeling stuck. It matters because it keeps you from moving forward with confidence in your daily life. When you're always questioning yourself, even simple tasks feel heavy and exhausting. This habit can make you miss out on opportunities because you're too busy hesitating. A realistic truth is that this doubt doesn't protect you from mistakes, it just delays your progress. The relief comes when you realize that most decisions don't need to be perfect to be good enough. By letting go of the need for certainty, you free up energy for things that truly matter. Now, let's look at what life feels like when this habit takes over. Without second-guessing, life feels lighter and more straightforward. You make a choice, and you stick with it without replaying it over and over. This doesn't mean you never make mistakes, it means you trust yourself to handle them. In practical terms, you spend less time worrying and more time actually living. A common misunderstanding is that confidence means never feeling unsure, but that's not true. The benefit here is that you build resilience by accepting that uncertainty is part of life. When you stop second-guessing, you start seeing decisions as experiments, not final verdicts. Next, we'll uncover the habits and beliefs that keep this cycle going. If this idea of pausing before you second-guess yourself really clicked with you, I would love to hear about it. What part of the process felt most relatable to you today? Maybe it was the part about noticing the inner critic, or the simple step of taking a breath. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might help someone else who is working on the same thing. While you are here, go ahead and hit that like button if this video was useful. And if you want to keep learning about making decisions with more clarity, consider subscribing. Stick around for the rest of the video because there is more gentle guidance coming up. One big habit that blocks you is overanalyzing every possible outcome before deciding. This pattern comes from a belief that you need to be 100% sure to move forward. Another common trap is seeking endless advice from others to validate your choice. The practical issue is that this only feeds your doubt instead of quieting it. A realistic truth is that perfectionism often hides behind second-guessing, making you think you're being thorough. The helpful insight is that these habits are learned, so they can be unlearned with practice. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to breaking free from them. Now, let's shift your mindset to see decisions in a new light. The first mindset shift is to accept that there is rarely one perfect choice. This matters because it takes the pressure off finding the right answer every time. In simple terms, you start seeing decisions as paths, not traps. Practically, this means you focus on what you can learn rather than what you might lose. A common pitfall is thinking that a wrong choice will ruin everything, but that's rarely the case. The relief here is that most decisions are reversible or adjustable over time. By embracing this mindset, you give yourself permission to move forward without fear. Let's now look at a practical step to start changing this habit today. A simple first step is to set a time limit for small decisions and stick to it. For example, give yourself 2 minutes to choose what to eat for lunch and then commit. This matters because it trains your brain to act without overthinking. The practical detail is that you start with low-stakes choices to build your confidence. A realistic truth is that you'll still feel doubt at first, but that's okay. It fades with practice. The benefit is that you prove to yourself that you can decide and move on. Over time, this habit extends to bigger decisions, making them feel less overwhelming. As you practice this, you'll notice a shift in how you approach choices, which we'll explore next. So what does it actually look like when you stop second-guessing yourself in daily life? It's not about suddenly becoming fearless or never feeling uncertain again. It's more like you start noticing that quiet moment of doubt and then choose to move forward anyway. For example, you might be at the grocery store deciding between 2 brands and you pick one without flipping back and forth. Or you send an email without rereading it 5 times, trusting that your first draft was good enough. The relief comes from realizing that most decisions don't need a perfect answer, just a good enough one. You start to feel a little lighter, like you're not carrying around that heavy fog of what if all day. This shift in everyday moments sets the stage for a simple practice that can reinforce this new way of deciding. One of the most straightforward habits you can build is something I call the decide and move on rule. The idea is simple. Once you make a choice, you commit to it for a set amount of time, say 10 minutes or an hour. During that window, you don't allow yourself to revisit the decision or question it. You can do this with small things like what to wear or which route to take to work. The trick is that your brain learns that it's safe to lock in a choice and that you will not be punished for it. Over time, this practice shrinks the window of doubt and builds a kind of decision-making muscle. You don't have to do it perfectly. Even a few times a day can make a difference. This habit is simple, but people often stumble when they try to apply it too broadly, which leads us to a common mistake. If you are looking for more gentle guidance on building a calmer, more intentional life, I have a suggestion. You can find a whole library of practical ideas and encouragement over at www.happylifetribe.com. The site is full of simple tools to help you navigate everyday decisions and quiet that inner doubt. It is a space designed for people who want to live with more ease, not more pressure. You will find articles, reflections, and support that fit right into your real life. Think of it as a friendly resource you can turn to whenever you need a little reset. There is no rush, just a warm invitation to explore when you feel ready. It is a simple next step for anyone wanting to feel more grounded in their choices. A mistake I see a lot is trying to stop second-guessing on big, life-changing decisions right away. People jump into practicing on things like career moves or major purchases, and then they feel overwhelmed. That's because those decisions carry real weight, so your brain's doubt signal is naturally stronger. The mistake is thinking you have to conquer the big ones first to prove you're improving. But what actually happens is you get frustrated, feel like you're failing, and then give up on the whole idea. The better approach is to start with low-stakes choices, like what to watch on TV or which coffee to order. Practicing on small stuff teaches your brain the pattern of deciding and moving on without the pressure. Once that pattern feels natural, you can gradually work your way up to bigger decisions without the overwhelm. To make this change feel realistic, you need to lower the bar for what counts as a good decision. Remind yourself that most decisions are reversible or have very minor consequences. Even the ones that aren't reversible often have more than one acceptable path forward. A practical way to frame it is to ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? And then realize you can handle it. Another trick is to set a time limit for smaller decisions, like 30 seconds, and then force yourself to pick. You don't need to be 100% sure, you just need to be 70% sure and then adjust later if needed. This takes the pressure off being right every time and makes the process feel doable. As you practice this, you'll start to notice real emotional and mental shifts that make the effort worthwhile. When you stop second-guessing yourself, one of the first things you'll notice is a drop in that constant background anxiety. Your mind stops running in circles, replaying choices, and worrying about outcomes. You start to trust yourself more, not because you're always right, but because you know you can handle being wrong. There's a quiet confidence that grows, like you're finally in the driver's seat of your own life. You also feel more present because you're not stuck in the past or future, agonizing over what could have been. The mental energy you used to waste on doubt gets freed up for things that actually matter, like creativity or connection. It's a gradual shift, but after a few weeks you'll look back and realize how much lighter you feel. Of course, life gets busy and old habits can creep back, so let's talk about how to keep that momentum going. When life gets hectic, it's easy to fall back into second-guessing because you're tired and less patient. The key is to have a tiny anchor practice that you can do even on your worst days. That might be taking one single deep breath before you make any decision, even a tiny one. Or it could be a simple mental reminder like, I commit to this for now and I can adjust later. The important thing is to keep the practice alive, even if it's just one small decision per day. Don't beat yourself up if you slip up and start second-guessing again. That's normal and part of the process. Just notice it. Reset and make the next choice with a little more trust. In the next part of this video, we'll look at how to handle the bigger decisions that really test your new skill. Over time, this shift starts to change more than just your big decisions. It begins to affect how you handle small, everyday choices without even thinking about it. You might notice that picking a shirt in the morning or deciding what to watch feels lighter and faster. That mental weight of constant doubt starts to lift, leaving more room for calm focus. You still pause sometimes, but the pause feels thoughtful instead of panicked. This change makes your daily routine feel less exhausting and more like a natural flow. The real benefit is that you start trusting yourself in moments you never expected to. This quiet confidence builds slowly, and it becomes a steady part of how you move through your day. One of the best parts of this journey is realizing you are not walking it alone. There are so many others out there who are also learning to trust themselves a little more each day. If you would like to feel that sense of belonging and support, consider joining our community. You can connect with people who are trying to live with more intention and emotional balance just like you. A great way to start is by subscribing to this channel so you never miss a video. You can also visit www.happylifetribe.com to find a space full of encouragement and shared stories. It is an invitation to learn alongside others who get it. You deserve a place where your growth is celebrated, not rushed. Even after you make progress, there will still be days when second-guessing comes back. A stressful situation or an important choice can trigger that old habit of doubt. You might find yourself stuck again, wondering if you are making the right call. This is not a sign that you failed or that the change did not work. It is just a normal part of learning something new, like stumbling when you learn to ride a bike. The key is to recognize that this setback is temporary and does not erase your growth. You can remind yourself that one hard moment does not mean you are back at square one. These challenges are actually opportunities to practice your new skill with a little more awareness. When you notice yourself slipping back into second guessing, the first step is to pause without judgment. Do not criticize yourself for falling into an old pattern, because that only adds more pressure. Instead, take a slow breath and remind yourself that you have handled this before. Ask yourself one simple question. What would I decide if I trusted myself right now? Then make the smallest possible choice in that direction, even if it feels uncomfortable. This small action breaks the cycle of overthinking and gets you moving again. After you take that step, notice how it feels to act, despite the doubt. Each time you recover like this, you build a stronger foundation for trusting yourself next time. This topic helps anyone who feels stuck in their own head when making decisions. It is especially useful for people who care deeply about getting things right and fear making mistakes. If you often replay past choices or worry about future ones, this approach can bring real relief. It also helps those who feel overwhelmed by too many options and freeze instead of choosing. People in creative fields, leadership roles, or caregiving positions often struggle with this the most. But honestly, anyone who wants to feel more peaceful and confident in their daily life can benefit. The reason it works is that it focuses on building trust with yourself, not on finding perfect answers. No matter who you are, learning to quiet that inner critic is a skill that makes life feel lighter. To start this change today, pick one small decision you have been putting off. It could be something like replying to a message or choosing a time for a task. Give yourself just 2 minutes to think about it, no more than that. Then make a choice and commit to it without looking back or second guessing. After you act, notice how it feels to have made a decision and moved forward. Do this with one small choice each day for the next week to build the habit. You do not need to tackle big life decisions right away. Just start with the small ones. This simple practice rewires your brain to trust your own judgment more naturally over time. Learning to stop second-guessing yourself is not about never feeling doubt again. It is about building a relationship with yourself where doubt does not stop you. Every time you choose to trust yourself, you send a message that your voice matters. This change takes practice, and it is okay if it feels awkward or slow at first. The relief that comes from making decisions with less inner conflict is deeply worth the effort. You will start to feel more present in your life and less trapped in your own thoughts. Remember that you already have the wisdom you need. You just have to let it speak. This is a gentle, ongoing practice, and each step you take brings you closer to a calmer, more confident you. As we wrap up here, I hope you feel a little more ready to trust yourself the next time a decision comes your way. Remember, the goal isn't to never second guess again, but to notice when you are doing it and gently bring yourself back. You can start practicing this small shift today, even with a tiny choice like what to have for lunch. If this video helped you, please take a moment to like it and subscribe to the channel for more real-life encouragement. For more practical ideas and a supportive community, you can always visit us at www.happylifetribe.com. There you will find calm living inspiration and mindful lifestyle guidance to help you build a happier, more intentional life. Thank you for spending this time with me and for being part of this gentle journey. I will see you in the next video, and until then, be kind to yourself.